Good morning. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I hope everyone is doing great today. And today is a Tuesday, a wonderful Tuesday afternoon where I am. These are the lovely ladies of TLC. I didn't watch the American Music Awards. That used to be must see TV for me. And I heard there was a nice tribute. Well, there wasn't a nice tribute actually. Busta Rhymes had a performance, and then he accepted some type of award, and he was the one who called Ananda Lewis's name and showed respect to her, even though there were so many years that she was on MTV. I first knew of her from BET. So Ananda Lewis is one of the people that helped put TRL, all those things on the map. The MTV being that big part of the music industry as far as videos for years. I'm surprised they didn't have a tribute to Ananda Lewis. But again, maybe I'm not surprised because what they're doing now, a lot of people are just, some of the newer people that are being hired, they don't really know anything beyond what they see over the last few weeks or few months. And so a lot of, even not that long ago, history is being lost. So that's kind of sad. That is kind of sad. TLC, these ladies have won the Video Vanguard Award before. So I can't believe we used to say stuff like crazy, sexy, cool. But that was one of their CD names, which was, we're okay with it because the ladies did kind of fit that mold. They did. T-Boz Chili and Resting in Peace, Resting in Power to Left Eye. Left Eye was so unique. I used to love all of them. I remember they did a good behind the music on them, and that's when people first started finding out that you could be in the music industry, you could be on videos, getting all these awards, touring all the time, and finances not be together. So I was surprised when I found that out. I remember when Left Eye broke that down during the acceptance of one of the awards, and she did it in like 30 seconds. The people was shocked. Not Toni Braxton, she wasn't shocked. She went through something similar during the similar time frame with similar parties involved. But as you can see, this is Winter Wonderland is here. That is the Melody Shari event, the beautiful Winter Wonderland in Atlanta. So far, it's been in Atlanta. The last one was the first one. It was so amazing. I'm not shocked that Melody decided to do it again. She's able to bring together a lot of her supporters, and we just get together and fellowship, celebrate each other, celebrate her. There's a great meal. I already have my ticket. So please join Sandra P's Gen Extra. If you don't have anybody to go with, this is the type of event where that does not matter. Melody Shari is, when I look up to her as just a businesswoman, a wonderful mom, just a great person, a great friend. And I think that she's amazing. I'm so proud of Melody. She's younger than me. She's the age of one of my nieces. But someone can be younger than you and you can still take things from you that are important. So I will be at Winter Wonderland. Patrina Winters, hello. I believe I probably met you at the last Winter Wonderland. Did you get your ticket already? I got my ticket already. I was going between either, I was saying VIP, general, VIP, general. I've been general admission to every Melody event and I haven't missed out on a thing. So VIP is just something, if you want to do that, of course, they have a special table. Their table is usually near Melody from what I can remember, but general admission, we were able to sit anywhere else. And I remember I was asked to move. I don't know why that table wasn't even full yet, but I was asked to move and I ended up sitting with a great group of people that we talked to. Yes. Okay. General. Okay. I did too, Patrina. So it'll be round 2 this year. I'm not sure how many days I'll stay in Atlanta yet. I was in an Airbnb last time. I did enjoy that. That is not for me this time. I'm going to be in my own space. So I'm going to just meet up with people while I'm there. Angela A., welcome in. That is one of my friends. It's one of my moderators. So welcome in, Angela A. I was just speaking to Patrina Winters about Winter Wonderland and Melody putting on this wonderful event again this year. So I'll be happy to see Melody. As you know, I was able to see Melody last Saturday, not this last one, but the last one at her TikTok live. And so I got the scalp massage. You couldn't tell me anything. I got the true spa experience. So I appreciate that. We were invited by Tea Talk with Your Girl. I reached out to Melody. So that was a really great experience. The actual event that I was in California was Angela A's birthday weekend. It was a little longer than a weekend, but it was a pretty nice trip. There were things that were great, things that you know how a trip is, different things that go on during the trip. You was there last year. You was at the meet and greet. Okay, hopefully we'll have another meet and greet. I've talked to T Talk with your girl, Sassy TV from the 803. Not dropped the T lately, but I'm not sure if they have something. It just depends on. There are going to be a lot of content creators there. I'm probably not going to host anything, but if I'm invited, I will be at certain events. I know I have a ticket to Winter Wonderland, so I am invited to that. I already paid my money. So I'm going to look for another white outfit this year. I had a white dress last year that I liked, and it was suitable for what it was. I was concerned about the white. I didn't know how that was going to turn out, but white can be done well. Let's see, here's a pretty white. This was in from one of the Real Housewives of Miami. That's Gertie. That's kind of over the top. It's like a wedding cake design. It won't be anything as elaborate as that. I had on a dress last year. It's going to be December 20th. So the Atlanta weather can be either mild or it could be really cold. So I'm not sure. I might try to do like a white pantsuit or something that is a little fancy, but a pantsuit this year. So it was beautiful, Katrina. I love that. I was surprised at how it turned out, but I'm happy it's going to be white again. And it truly fits in with Winter Wonderland. If you follow Melody on IG, you'll probably saw that she was in Paris, and it looked like she was doing just sightseeing. She was eating, so I was just looking. She was showing the food, which is wonderful. I've been to Paris 3 times, y'all. One time with a friend. I've been twice by myself. Now I have one of my little nieces wants me to take her because she's aware of Paris from one of the Ladybug. All of that takes place in and around Paris. So she wants to see all of those places. But when I saw Melody there, I was like, oh, that looks like so much fun. She's right. The food is amazing. The Eiffel Tower. My friend went up to the top. I did not. But just the sights, the architecture, everything that she mentioned, I recognized where she was. She was outside. It looked like the Louvre. You can go in there and tour. That's what most people run to the Mona Lisa, but there's other art in there than that. So that's been my bucket list. I'm excited about the new fragrance as well. Angela A says the event was beautiful last year. Yes, Angela, it was. We actually were in the same Airbnb last year. But we'll coordinate as far as when Melody lets us know where the event's being held, then I'll decide which hotel I'll be in around there. And I'm sure there'll be Melometers there and people there to fellowship with and talk to while I'm there. Katrina Winter says, I'm excited about the new fragrance. I am too. The body butter, some of the rose scents that she had tried on me, it smelled so wonderful. The one that was named for her grandmother, one of the Lily fragrances, it smelled really great. So I'm looking forward to the blueprint and blueprint pink. So of course she would go to Paris to get that done, known for their scents, known for fragrances. So I'm excited to see what Melody has put together. So because in the middle of the play, we know she was also working. So that was one of the topics. Other than, are you coming to Winter Wonderland? Welcome in, Mama Bees. This is my moderator, Mama Bees. And so far we have Katrina. Angela A, were you still on the fence or were you going? I know Angela A went last year. So I just want to kind of reach out and find out of the people that visit me here, who is going to be at Winter Wonderland. I will not have any strangers at Winter Wonderland. I didn't the first time I went, so I loved it. The table, after I ended up at the other table, I was there with one of the ladies that was in the house with me, 32 shots. I'm not sure what her plans are for this year, but I'll be looking forward to seeing her again. She was with me. She was helping me find my dress that morning. Still debating. Yeah. To me, it was worth going, but I have a lot of things going on right before then, too. I'm actually glad it's December 20th now because I have BravoCon the 3rd week in November. And then in October, Black Girls Day off, I said that Queen Sheba is going to Cabo again. I'm not going to be able to do that because I already had taken off the time for Black Girls Day off. And I'm leaning toward Belize because that is where I wanted to go. Anyway, one of my nieces went and loved it so much. So that's probably what I'm going to do, just to get myself 3 nights in where I can get some rest, have a solo trip to myself, and just relax. So that is how I want to do Black Girls Day off. Just sighing, woo-sah. Let me know what hotel, because I didn't really get to meet people at the meet and greet on Friday. Oh, okay. Yeah, Patrina, we definitely, I don't have a members only, but what I'll do is that when I'm live and someone's in here, we will find some type way to coordinate, definitely, because sometimes I'll do posts as well. So as soon as I know where I'm staying at, we'll have a way of letting other people that are in a hotel know if we coordinate something to kind of be able to spend time with each other. Sharon Gabo, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. She's speaking to me and the chat. We were speaking about Winter Wonderland. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this year, the fact that it's all white. We're talking about Melody being in Paris for her perfume. So that's wonderful. We're all proud of Melody and everything that she's been able to do. My channel, in addition to any reality type news, I also recap certain shows, which is Heart and Hustle Houston. Thank everyone that watches those reviews. I appreciate that so much. I gain a few new subscribers from that every time a review goes up. Had Cass, which is the beautiful Ro, watches. She'll leave a comment. So y'all, that is exciting. That lets me know that where I'm going with my channel is exactly where I need to be going. And I just appreciate being able to give my opinion on reality, anything reality TV. Bravo. I was going to drop OWN, y'all. I think Heart and Hustle is going to save OWN. I don't like the attention that the other show is still getting. I want to see Heart and Hustle be the #1 show on OWN. And we can see that the other people on that other show, anything to be relevant. So they're even now still harassing Melody. But I'm glad to see her still about her business, on her grind, enjoying her life, taking care of her children, just growing her brand, keeping her reputation intact. That is so important, y'all. It's important. You don't want to be out here looking crazy or having somebody pull you to a place that you don't want to go. Because I've already been raised. I'm an adult. I'm full grown. And the last thing I want is to allow anyone to take me down a path I don't want to go. And if they don't like it, they don't have to like it. That's just how I feel about a lot of things that go on. I love how Melody's handling herself. So those TikTok lives, yes, she's going to spill some tea. She's also going to share news that she has going on, positive news first. And then when she starts spilling tea, she's going to correct false information. She's going to defend herself if she needs to do that. Tell us about new products, because the Paris trip, when I saw that, it didn't dawn on me. I knew the fragrance was coming. I knew she had talked about it, but I was excited when she started talking about the blueprint pink, and that she was there for that. So I love that. Also, I'm talking about Bravo, because like I said, I'm going to BravoCon. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of the Bravo celebrities. So I had a few of the shows that I review on Bravo, which is King's Court. I've had Catherine from the cast in there. Also Stephanie come in. So just to know that there are people that watch the reviews and they appreciate the review and leave a little comment. I love that. That is exciting. So that made me feel good to know that I'm on the right path with what I want to do and my vision for my channel. And I appreciate everyone that regularly stops by during the lives. And then also Team Replay. Team Replay is really important. They come in, they'll like. There's a new hype feature. I don't really know what it does. Apparently, you get a certain number, because I use 3. When I see my favorite creators, and whether I'm in the bushes or not, I'll hype their video, and I guess YouTube will spit out their video. So if you see that on something, you haven't given your 3 hypes yet, consider hyping up me. Hype up Sandra P's Gen Extra, because I'm still growing slowly but surely, and I'm happy about that. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all know there's a lot of news coming out about that. K. Michelle is doing her subliminal tweet thing that she does. I can't say I'm looking forward to K. Michelle, but she's already been hired. I know that she's good TV. She knows how to do TV. I'm a little disappointed. This is not what Real Housewives to me has been. I'm a season 1 watcher. There have been times when it has gotten dark or what I didn't want to see that I dropped it easily. But I am going to start out watching it, and then we'll see what happens during the course of the season. I'm going to review it. Of course, last season, Sweet 16, which wasn't that sweet, but season 16, I was able to review it as part of a panel. I haven't heard anything about whether or not that is going to be a thing that's continuing. it had good points and bad points. The good points, of course, were the 4 ladies that I was able to collaborate with. For me, the bad points was trying to coordinate schedules because it was supposed to be a Sunday and Wednesday. The show comes on Sunday. So it was amazing when we could get together for immediate first impressions right after the show. And we will be first doing it. That was amazing. So Wednesday was the night. Sometime it was not as easy to pin down a time. And then if it wasn't Wednesday, a lot of other people have already dropped their reviews as well. Other Real Housewives of Atlanta news would come out. And then by the time we would get to it, it's already, everyone's covering the same content, but it's already talked about. Especially, we've already done the Sunday, but we didn't get to it by Wednesday. Then it's not really, doesn't flow the way that it should for me. So we'll see what happens with that. I know that I'm going to review it, along with, of course, the other shows that I review. We'll see what Bravo has out as well. Hopefully they'll come out with a new Love Hotel. I was able to do Love Hotel, and I liked it because it had a couple of the housewives that I'm familiar with, which was Giselle, Ashley. Even though I can't really stand Ashley, she was funny. She was a good mix for Love Hotel. She's recent divorcee. Giselle is a long-time divorcee. Giselle be out here dating, but Giselle doesn't really have us in her business like that. I like to see her dating in the way she was with the men. I didn't think Giselle was serious about these men. Also, Countess Luann was one of the funny ones on Love Hotel to me. How she moved, how she dated. I could have done without Shannon Bedour, y'all. I heard she was a mess behind the scenes, allegedly, and in my opinion, she actually would. Joel, who was the guy that ended up hosting it. Let me run a banner. Joel was the host. He said that he had a hard time with Miss Shannon Bedour, that she was always complaining, that she was just hard to work with. Wasn't the nicest to staff. So I'm not surprised about that at all. I'm not surprised. So we'll see what happens with this year's Love Hotel. I was thinking, I wonder if they would do some type of crossover and have, let's see what happens with King's Court. One of the recaps I review, one of the shows I do a recap for and review and give my opinion. I've been increasingly frustrated with the Kings and how they're handling themselves. But if they did like a crossover type thing and one of the Kings doesn't meet his queen, maybe it would be at the Love Hotel. I don't know. So I'm interested in BravoCon to see what kind of tea is spilled at BravoCon. And I'm looking forward to that. Real Housewives of Miami, they have a lot of stuff all the time going on outside of the show. So right now with their new lady, which is Stephanie, she's trying to do this nautical Steph thing and kind of tamp down her personality. I don't know that she has to tamp down her personality. She gets on my nerves. But there are people that like Stephanie. The one thing I don't like about Stephanie is all that bragging. Some of us do tune in for the luxury, if that's there and if that's real. But private jet, that's all she was talking about, private jet. But I got so sick of Stephanie and just being a one-trick pony. But if you watch my channel, you know I like to give the newer housewives a chance. I don't like one-season wonders. I feel like it's really hard to establish themselves and come out and do what they need to do, and for the audience to get to know them in one season, that's kind of hard. But I appreciate a housewife that she's just herself, but can also adjust or pivot if she needs to. I'm going to see what Stephanie's going to do, as far as pivoting. Now, she doesn't need to live in the comments, but what she's doing for me is not working. She's doing what they've done on some of the other franchises. She came in going at an OG, which was Alexia. That didn't really work. Now she's going to kind of tilt to Maddie Saul and see what she kind of feels she can get going with her. I'd just like to see Stephanie living her life, doing her thing as far as that goes. Patrina, you don't care for Stephanie? Yeah, she kind of went left for me. I was kind of getting a kick out of her calling out the ladies and that sort of thing. But then when she started dangling that jet over her head and that kind of stuff, I didn't really care for that. I'm always willing to, again, give them another chance. So we'll see what happens with that. Other news, I saw Drew Sidora, who I follow on IG. She was at the Atlanta Falcons season opener, and we know Drew has a wonderful voice. She was able to do the national anthem. So she was singing the national anthem. She's amazing. And she was at, was it, no, it wasn't Winter Wonderland. She was at Mimosas with Melody. Drew came in kind of late. I still was able to see her and meet her. So that was great. As far as Drew getting out here, still working. Real Houses of Atlanta, I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Season 17, like I said, K. Michelle's coming in. We know she has her new, not so new, but still being toured on, having a buzz. Her country music. K. Michelle's from Memphis, but K. Michelle does do a lot of online feuding and that sort of thing. So they had news that Angela Oakley, who was one of my favorite new housewives, toward the end, she got into a little bit of mess. So I want to see where that's going because she was having a good season. She lost her mother. So rest in peace to Angela's mother that we got to meet during the season. Charles, of course, her husband, he was a recurring character. He was really good at the reunion. But at the end, Angela kind of got into something with Phaedra. So a lot of people were thinking Angela was trying to frame Phaedra over bringing those two guys to the party or the one guy to the party to confront her, something like that. Kelly was involved. I'm not sure, but we had another one season, not wonder, but a one season. She could have been one and done, which was Shamia Morton. Shamia started out as one of my favorites, and she was just so all over the place. And to me, so up Portia's behind and trying to kind of have an alliance instead of just living her life and showing us the life like I thought we were going to get from episode like 1 or 2. I was disappointed in Shamia and what she ended up bringing. I'm not one of the people that said, don't bring her back, let her go. I think we could still see more out of Shamia because she does have a lot going on. She had her husband, the children. Of course, she has to manage that huge house. I think she's the host still at the Atlanta Falcons games. Also at the Atlanta Hawks. Maybe both, maybe it was the Hawks. But she's all out and about hosting events. She was in a movie. So Shamia has a lot going on that she could focus on. I didn't like some of the feuds that she was trying to do. I don't like when they try to manage the audience like that. Okay, like who's going to feud with who and who's going to go at this one? I feel like Kelly came in on that with Portia. And I didn't care for that. Portia didn't have the storyline she thought she was going to have because Simon Guobadia put the brakes on a lot of it. And then for me, I don't know if most of it was him as far as if there was a cease and desist, which is what she claimed or people claimed for her. But I think Portia was embarrassed about not being able to show a lot of the things that she thought she was going to be able to show. So we'll see if that's what it was. We'll see what's going on. So we had Drew in her Falcons opener. Congratulations to Drew. Melody Shari, The Blueprint, coming out with The Blueprint and Blueprint Pink. That's this fall. Winter Wonderland, I will be there. Patrina says she'll be there. We already met once at the first one. I'm looking forward to meeting you again. And again, we'll get together. I'll be at a hotel this year. So we will kind of coordinate. And when Melody tells us when, I have to look at the ticket and everything again. I don't think it had a location. I like the location she had last year. I really like that. So I have some political stuff. I want to do that in a separate political minute because that is a whole different mood that I bring to that. And then, of course, more research that I'll bring to that. So BravoCon, that's something I have coming up in November. So look forward to the content on that. I'll have BravoCon content for you. My own Black Girls Day off. I know Queen Sheba and the group will be in Cabo, Mexico. So she's writing in members only. If you get an opportunity, if you're members only with Queen Sheba, you'll find out more information there. So that's Mexico this year for them. And then so far, I have a couple of trips planned and coming up in January. Now, my birthday is December 30th. My birthday is something I do for myself, spend to myself, because I'm being December 30th, being number 7 out of 8 children. I will say this about my parents, my family. I always got at least a cake. I always got at least a doll, something. But I have a sister who's December 31st, one of my older sisters. Christmas is there. 7 of 8 kids in Yonkers. A money situation where it's everybody's working, everybody's every day we hustling, making $1 out of 15 cents. My birthday, we've had to put a lot of little things into my birthday, my sister's birthday, Christmas. So now that I'm an adult, I think it was around 40 was one of the that Paris was one of the years I went. Paris in the winter is different. It's cold. It's still really pretty. The food is still really good, but it's grayer. That was one of my trips. One of my big birthday trips. I was able to go to Panama City. I was a week alone in Panama City, toured the Panama Canal, did a couple city tours, walking tours. The food is really amazing. I'm not fluent in Spanish, but there's Spanish and English in Panama. So that was one of my favorite trips. Phuket, Thailand was another trip that I took, and I loved that. That was one of my solo birthday trips. I was able to spend a week in Phuket, Thailand. Now that I have the channel, when I do things like that, I'm not sure where my birthday trip will be this year, but I'll have some content. A new show I'm watching is Tracee Ellis Ross. I'm a little behind because it's Netflix and they drop so many episodes. But Tracee Ellis Ross is traveling the world. I love her personality. I love how she gets out and goes. So she's inspirational to me. I have to catch up on that show, though. My travel series is Sandra P. is free to move about the cabin. And I've already set up a playlist. I've toured the ship where I was at. I may show a little, if I'm walking around a city, I'll show you a little bit of content. If I have to do a review while I'm there, that will fall under that also. Sandra P. is free to move about the cabin. And that's just a reference I've been using for years. Everyone knows when I left corporate America, which was financial industry, which was toward the end pretty terrible for me. You can see how they treat their customers. So imagine if you work there and that's your career. So I've been in the airline 20 years, and that started out just as part-time, just to get my flight benefits. My healthcare ended up being cheaper there because I'm union. And it was just something I would do part-time. Our part-time would be as little as 15 hours to, you can make that into some full-time something, but it was always just a little part-time thing that I also did when I had my career. When the stress and everything got too much from corporate America, I easily and happily walked away from that. I'm not embarrassed to say it was before COVID. So quiet quitting, people didn't know about that. But for me, I was making sure everything was paid down. My desk didn't look like my desk had looked over the past few years. I think I had like one picture on there, and I could have just picked up and left at any time. So when I finally left, like my last day, and put in my notice, which was also my last day, boom, the people that were close to me and that I had worked with for years and that I enjoyed for years and learned from, and they learned from me, knew. The ones that didn't need to know found out as they found out, and I was up and gone. And I mean, y'all, that was summer of 2018. When I tell you, and I had a desk job, I was a compliance analyst with one of the banks. All of the banks are equally terrible. But the last bank, this was the one where one of the financial advisors was reporting unusual activity about Wendy Williams, and her finances are still tied up. But that's something that a lot of these banksters do. When they have these clients, big money clients, celebrity clients, high dollar clients, a lot of senior clients go through that. They have to be really careful with some of these banks. If you can get a credit union, do that, because these banksters, they don't mean you any good. Wendy's still tied up. Not that she didn't need help, not that something unusual wasn't going on, but if you're that financial advisor and I see $100,000 annually in Uber Eats, I'll say, oh, okay, this is from the son's credit card. He's a rich kid. He's a celebrity kid. It didn't dawn on him to reach out to Wendy and say, well, maybe, Kevin Jr. could use a chef, because he could have gotten a chef easily for what, $65,000, $75,000 plus food costs. Because I think they were living in Florida at the time. I'm sure that would be a good salary. But freeze this lady's accounts. Now she's under this conservatorship. Hopefully she can get out from under. Never been a Wendy fan. I didn't like the way she talked about people. A lot of things that she used to talk about were true, but then just as many things Wendy would, she'd come out of left field. And that's why she would always feud with people too. But I was so just disappointed for what happened with Wendy. I hope she's able to get out from under, and they're not able to bleed this lady dry, because that's a big part of it. There was a Netflix movie. If you've never watched it, it's been out a few years. It's called I Care a Lot, and it's about conservatorships. And there are these ladies, they're scamming. They're actually a couple, but one of the ones that is instrumental, she is scamming people. They'll be watching somebody and the person doesn't know they're being watched. In this case, it was a senior lady, and they would look at her home. They find out if your home's paid for, kind of the artwork that she had, if she's alone, and they end up taking control of this lady and putting her into this home that she's not able to take care of her own finances and take care of herself. The twist is still worth watching. I Care a Lot, Netflix, so it's not spoilers. I'll tell you what it is. The twist is that this is not a little old lady that nobody knows anything about. Her son is someone to be reckoned with. And as he enters the picture, like, okay, where's my mother? It's something else. Him, the lady with the conservatorship, y'all, the judges were in on it. So that's how these banksters are able to get away with a lot of what they do. That was a tangent. Excuse me for the tangent, but I was just talking about other celebrity news, Wendy Williams. So we covered Winter Wonderland. I'll be at BravoCon. I'm going to have tea from there. So I'm going to take pictures with whomever I can out of the Bravo celebrities. I'm looking forward to who's going to be on a new Love Hotel. I didn't cover Queen's Court. I didn't care for any of the queens that they had. I liked King's Court. I'm a little bit sick of all three kings. One I never cared for, Carlos Boozer. Thaddeus has disappointed me so far. I don't know that he can turn it around because he's gotten progressively worse throughout the season. Tyson is still Tyson. He's that eye candy. And he never really said that he was coming in here for love and all this kind of stuff. There we go. Any excuse to put that up. So King's Court, that's something else I'm covering. So my Bravo Con, that is third week in September. Winter Wonderland is December 20th. We'll coordinate on how we're going to get together and fellowship, meet each other. Real Housewives of Miami, that's a recap that I'll do later in the week. That comes on Thursday nights. I've done Sandra P's Gen Extras on OC because I do watch them. This is a dark season, y'all. They are circling around Katie, the Korean lady. Y'all, they have an Asian. They don't know how to act over there on OC. I'm not even disappointed because that happens on a lot of these casts when they do that. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. Hopefully, it doesn't have the impact that they think it will. I think they're trying to get her up out of here. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, y'all, because the whole thing back in the day when they had the whole Naked Wasted, if you've never watched it, it's season 4. Episode 8 is called Naked Wasted. And it's Gretchen's first season. Gretchen Rossi, who Gretchen is now lying about what happened. But Tamra hosts a dinner party at her house with her then husband, Simon. And Tamra has her adult son as the bartender and conspires to give Gretchen more drinks than everybody else. They were trying to get her drunk. The new thing that they're saying now is, was she roofied? I saw Vicky being all ignorant. Was roofie a thing back then? Roofie's been a thing since forever. It's a date R drug. Bill Cosby served some time over that until they found out about the misconduct that was going on within the case, that they didn't honor his deal. But roofie was definitely a thing. If it wasn't an official roofie of Gretchen, Tamra was trying to get her impaired. And then two of the couple that were there that night, Lynn and Frank, offered Gretchen a ride home. Tamra declined on Gretchen's behalf. So I don't know why they're not talking about that now. Cece, welcome in. She's one of my moderators. Came in, spoke to everyone. Cece, we started out talking about Winter Wonderland. So we have a couple people in the chat that are going, Katrina being one. Myself, I already have my ticket. Angela A was here earlier, another one of my moderators. She is on the fence. So I will find out. Angela's my friend. I'll know when she's going to go. Or what she decides to do. Patrina's telling what I think. Jen is a liar too. She is, and Jen's bullying Katie as well. And I'm so surprised about that. We're talking a little bit about OC. It's an extra, y'all, about OC. So this whole thing that's going on with, they have a blogger, Kiki Monique, that supposedly Katie was in touch with. Tamra has a whole podcast. She talks about everybody. She does whatever she wants to do. Tamra, honestly, looking at Naked Wasted from a 2025 lens, I don't know if it's fair, but looking at then with this lens, Tamra should have never been invited back to Bravo. What she's done is horrific. Like the situation over in Atlanta, a lot of people thought that whether Candy left or not, Portia nor Phaedra should have ever been invited back about that lie they told on Candy and Todd. But it's hard to know where to stand on that because that was a lie. They lied on Candy. But Candy's been open about this activity, that activity. I'm not going to get into details, but she did a whole tour after the fact, kind of mocking it, put money in her pocket about it. But that doesn't really, to me, take away from the fact that Phaedra repeated a lie that she heard. I think one of the producers, who hopefully will never be back at Bravo, Carlos, who wreaks havoc everywhere he goes. There's always been rumors he was instrumental in that and was fired over that. He has said over the years, I didn't get fired over that. I didn't get fired. But he's never been able to be back. We know he has his podcast. He has his YouTube channel. He can't stop talking about Bravo, the Housewives, and he is obsessed with the Housewives, especially Atlanta. But when the Housewives go over there, it's not favorable to them. Kenya went over there, and I don't think Bravo wants to work with her right now. I don't think that's just about what went on with her and Brooke Edie either. I mean, Britt Edie. Britt Edie, honestly, she was a one and done. She's probably one of the ones I would say would. I don't care that she's one and done. I didn't care for her the way she came in. None of that. She came in hot like all of the newbies who came in targeting an OG or a veteran to kind of get clout off of them and have at least one of the storyline being a feud. But Britt, because of the way things went, and then her and her friend Kelly, I don't even think they were friends. They were more alliances. The way they turned on each other, it was kind of distasteful. And Britt not knowing how to really fairly go back and forth with someone without making threats and that sort of thing. That was one of the reasons I didn't mind a one and done with her. But had Britt been able to weather through the season, I don't think Bravo would have fired her. I think she could have come back. When she no call, no show to the reunion, that was just it. Even the people that she was in community with at the time, they didn't know she wasn't going. Portia and Phaedra. CC, Sandra Peace, Gen Xtra, are you going to BravoCon? Yes, I am going to BravoCon. I already have my tickets. I have the 3-day pass. I have my hotel room. I was going to be in the hotel that was actually, it's being held at. But for me, I like Hilton Properties. One of my hotels that I like has a shuttle. I don't really need a shuttle for where I am, but I have access to everything that's going on in and around the Planet Hollywood, all the Bravo activities. I'm going to see what extra things I want to do because my 3-day pass is going to include a lot of Bravo related or Bravo sponsored activities, but I'll see what extra things I want to do. I know that anything with Bravo Andy and Watch What Happens Live is like a separate ticket. So I'm looking into that to see which other ones I want to do. So, and if there are other creators there, I know of 2 already. Tea Talk with Your Girl, Drop the Tea. I know that they're there. We have not discussed any collaboration or anything like that. Solo, and Sandra P is free to move about the cabin, and I'll be a lone wolf. But if I have the opportunity to collaborate with people that I'm able to collaborate with, that might be a consideration that I would do. But it's the way my channel is set up. I really want to nurture my own brand, my own views, my own Gen X perspective, grow my subscribers. A lot of the content that I have, y'all, it brings a lot of different subscribers. So millimeters, of course. My TikTok live video, I'm still so proud of that with my scalp massage from the lovely Melody Shari. I love that. That's a part of my channel. That is going to always be here. I never covered Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I was luckily never torn between whether to cover it or not when Melody left. I was excited when Melody left. I'm happy that she is still gone. I love that she still has large enough platforms where when lies are told on her and people are still eating off her, she's able to get out there, say what she needs to say, correct the lie, tell the truth, because I don't believe in that her truth business. The truth. Melody actually has receipts about what goes on and has gone on. The fact that she's covered for people and no longer are, that's still the truth. That's the truth. I don't care what she's said in the past. I believe what she's saying now. We know that those of us that were watching season 1, we already knew Martell potentially was abusive. I don't care what Melody went anywhere else and said. I know she did a Dr. Heavenly interview and just said, well, I'm fighting back. Reacting to abuse, that's called reactive abuse. That doesn't mean that you're not abused. So as she has grown and learned more, she is in her grown woman era, and she's working hard, playing hard. I'm so proud of her. That show is still trying to, reach out and kind of pull her back in. I don't think that it would happen. I'm happy for her where she's at now. Her brand, what she's able to do. She can do movies, music. The brand is growing leaps and bounds. Now we're looking forward to Blueprint Pink. So I'm excited for Melody. Cece, let me know if you're going, because I am looking forward to seeing a lot of the Mellometers again at Winter Wonderland. And if not even Mellometers, Melody supporters. Melody's branched out. There are a lot of people that don't know Love and Marriage Huntsville that are supporters of Melody and her brand. So that's the other thing that is wonderful for her, being able to grow, doing her TikTok lives. And then she gets IG followers from that. People just, oh, she's in Paris. Oh, she's launching a perfume. That's just inspirational. It's exciting. A lot of what she's doing now doesn't have anything to do with the show. Someone came to Melody through the show, that's fine. But she has a lot more, thankfully, people that are coming in that don't know her from the show and had nothing to do with the show. So I'm looking forward to her at Winter Wonderland, and also being around the Melody supporters. A lot of my channel supporters are Melody supporters. So I'm excited for that. But I welcome everyone here, unless they're negative. I don't care for negativity. I really don't. I don't mind difference of opinion. I actually respect and enjoy difference of opinion. There are people on my channel, they'll come in, they may not agree with what I say, but they're respectful about it, and it helps to have a back and forth, a healthy back and forth, a real healthy back and forth. You can't mold a grown woman to do and be and think what you are, and you shouldn't even want that. I want my friends to be able to be, everybody's different, everybody have their own minds. It doesn't cause hard feelings. It doesn't cause a break. I don't have to think everything you think. I don't have to be in group think and follow through and be, following behind somebody. I don't think that's good. I think it's good to develop your own mind. You've already been raised, you're grown. So for me, I'm already been raised. I'm an adult. I'm Gen X. I'm 54. So there's nobody that can really check me as far as if I'm disagreeing with what they say, or we just don't have the same views about something. That's fine. That should be fine for most mature women. Oh, you hadn't thought about going to BravoCon, so no. What about Winter Wonderland, CC? Let me know. I already got my Winter Wonderland tickets, and I got my 3-day package for BravoCon. You'll see my BravoCon content here, CC. So I welcome you to watch the BravoCon content. That's mid-November. I think I'll leave like the 15th or sometime around in there, but it's like the 3rd week of November, and I'll be in Vegas for about 5 days. Patrina Winters is telling us a story. I'm going to put a trigger alert. She's sharing. Thank you so much. This is another thing I appreciate about my channel. My subscribers can get very candid, and we have a community. We have great moderators, but also we're respectful of each other, what each other go through, and I appreciate the fact anyone shares. Patrina Winters says, I was abused, lied to my parents about it. Then one day my brother caught him putting his hand on me, and my dad told my brother to take care of him. He was putting hands on me for years. So there's that story like Patrina Winters. We know Melody shared that with us in her song when she says, letting you hide. I can't say, I was getting ready to break out in song, but I won't do it. Letting you hide all your bad parts. So yeah, she was probably doing that because maybe she was embarrassed. Maybe she doesn't want to not tear down, but people will feel like you tearing down the children's father. You're not tearing down the children's father. If he's being a terrible husband, then that does mean he's being a terrible father. If you're hurting your children's mother, then you're a terrible father. And I don't care if these pick-me-shas line up and say that that's not the case. So I don't care that people are saying that Melody, for whatever reason, now she's coming out with it. The reason she's coming out with it, she showed us. This ninja came right out the courthouse and started harassing this lady outside the courthouse with the person that his whole family was destroyed over. I was in a TikTok studio. I've been around the 4-piece nuggets before. Let me tell you something. What Melody Shari is doing with those children and Mama Van and all of her village that she has put together and assembled to love her and her children. Those are amazing kids. And I know Martell is kicking himself. For me, I feel like it's the loss of lifestyle. I don't really think he has capacity to really love anyone. I think he misses that lifestyle. He loved the jet set, be out in LA, even while she's working. Y'all remember the earlier seasons. I remember season 1. She used to always speak and that sort of thing. Mimosas with Melody, I don't know if that was the official name, but that's been a thing. She had some kind of event. She was speaking. The 4-piece nuggets and their father were at a table, and the kids were so excited. Wasn't even 4-piece nugget, y'all. We didn't have Sugar Mama yet. Milani wasn't born. Wow, that show brought us. We got to see Melody when she announced that she was pregnant on the show. Remember, they went away to a couple's trip. They were still having all these problems. This woman have another baby with her husband. Another cast member threw that in her face. Y'all, these people were crazy. I'm so glad I don't watch that show anymore because it's so triggering and frustrating. So Patrina Winters was sharing the story of she had lied. She was hiding this man's bad parts, and the brother saw it. And her father said, handle him. Now, you know how dangerous this is? This man could have killed your husband. Your brother could have been in jail. And I'm so glad Melody got out of that situation because it's still volatile. For her to, I don't know if charges were dropped. I don't know the details. I can't remember. It started to not make sense in my head, or too much was going on. But I know that he's not under the jail where he should be. And there was another time in his life he should have been under the jail and he was spared. But he's one of those people that my mother used to call it like, you keep on you doing until you just do out. And it's true. You do too much. You do way too much. And he's done way too much. He doesn't think he can be stopped because he's been allowed to get away with so many things and shown grace so many times that he feels like he's always going to have that, and that the grace he has is going to extend to these other people. I don't know why Slaw's walking around, riding around, opening her mouth, jumping in front of Melody at the elevator. I don't know why she's doing that. I don't know. I used to go back and forth about if I feel sorry for the young lady or not. I don't know. I know she has no home training. Well, let me not say she has home training. Allegedly, her home training is to do exactly what she's doing. But I don't know. I don't know what she's gained. What has she gained? What has she profited? She got the man that was given to her. Because make no mistake about it, this man would have still been back over there. He would have. So that whole scenario is crazy. But out of it, we get Melody working so hard, playing so hard, showing us that she's over in Paris. So we're going to get the blueprint out of that. I'm so proud of her being able to do that. This is another show that I'm covering, Heart and Hustle Houston. I got to figure out, y'all, how to move. I can move different pictures, but if I move mine, and I used to be able to do it while I was live, I have to find that button again. There's been some type of change in StreamYard. So let's see. This is the Heart and Hustle Houston ladies. That's getting pretty good. That's the Real House of Miami ladies. Heart and Hustle Houston is up to its 5th episode. I appreciate the subscribers that are watching that. We had a cast member, the beautiful Ro, come in and let me know she watched the reviews. She was laughing about, oh yeah, they're showing me at work now. I was happy that Latoria gave Ro an award for being a trailblazing woman. This is the kind of encouragement I like to see on these shows. This is what I thought that other show was going to do. And they just couldn't do it. The people were too small, too petty, too lazy, not really wanting to work, just wanting to kind of hide behind one and have her do all the work. And Melody finally had to spread her wings and fly, or butterfly, rise like a phoenix. I'm so proud of Melody. But these ladies, hopefully this show will go a lot better. I've had a couple of episodes that were a 10. Episode 5, y'all, that was a 10 for me. We got to see Chloe. I don't know how to even move that. Yeah, Chloe is the character with not the character, but the woman that's on the show. She's a wedding planner. She also plans just events, other events. Latoria is a publicist, but with Chloe, we had a really touching scene with her and her son. She has a son named Nico. He's 24 years old. See another backdrop. Okay, there's Chloe with the big hoop earrings, with her arm extended. They're at someone's house. Right next to her is Latoria. I was working on putting the names, but then I couldn't really get it like focused. You see Labrina. Elena is up front. I wrote her name in black. Elena has a short haircut. And if you go to her IG, she is a very talented makeup artist. But in addition to that, she does celebrity makeup. She gave us a story. This is another reason that was a 10 rated episode. She has a scene with her mother. She's going through some things with her husband, Josh. They are estranged, but living in the same home. They're in separate bedrooms. We're finding out little pieces of this story. But Elena, with short haircut, beautiful Elena, she was at lunch with Ro. There's Labrina right there. Labrina wasn't invited because Labrina is married to her husband, Will, is a NFL veteran. He played 10 years in the league. So that's other story that we're getting from Labrina. She has a 15-year-old called Pop. So Pop was full-time with Will and Labrina because he's a teen. Courts do listen to these children. He has said he wants to be between his mother and father. So he has two good homes, but the discipline level is different in one. His father is not his father's home. Pop has not been doing exactly what he should do the way that he had with Will and Labrina. Y'all know they live at my favorite location on any reality show right now, the Will and Labrina Ranch. So I'm sure there were chores and all kind of stuff for Pop to do over there, which is probably why he wanted to spend more time with his dad. So we get a scene of him and Labrina talking. She wants to kind of bring him back in the fold because he's at a very critical time. 15-year-old is what, 10th grade? So he's a young black man. And then he wants to be a football player. So he has access to someone who was in an elite league for 10 years. So even if he just wants to play college football or make it to the NFL, the exposure to Will, as far as career-wise, that could be amazing for him. So we'll see what happens with that. Ro has a daughter, Sophia. I can't tell if Sophia's a preteen. She looks so young in her face, but she had a bullying incident at school. So we watched that impact what the adult ladies were going through. Chloe introduced a messy character that was there for Latoria. She said it. Latoria run into the lady, Shaniqua, at the rodeo. Now, out of the 6 ladies, let me make sure y'all, I can't see Munira. Munira is right here under my brand. So Munira and Latoria have had a couple of little things before. None of the I was going to say the core 6, y'all. All right. Kimmy can't have the word core. Okay. Core is essential to a group. So the central group to Heart and Hustle Houston are the initial 6 ladies that we met. The beautiful Labrina, Ro, Chloe. Chloe was right there with the short haircut. She's in a cream colored dress during their photo shoot. Latoria Lemon, she's central as well. Look at pretty Ro, y'all. So Ro and Latoria central as well. All of them are central. These 6, but Chloe introduced this character that I thought was just gonna be a walk by. Hi, and then it was kind of funny that Latoria didn't remember where she knew her from. So that the second they saw each other, that was what it was. Later on, y'all, we find out Shaniqua is so mad about it because, Latoria is walking down the street on the Houston rodeo, runs into Shaniqua, hi, hey. And then she tells the camera, well, where do I know her from? So she did admit that, where do I know her from? She ends up bringing her back to, I don't know if it was VIP, but it was certainly the inner circle of ladies back at the Houston rodeo. She comes in. She didn't know Shaniqua's name. Shaniqua had to introduce herself. I'm Shaniqua. So we find out from Chloe that Chloe and Shaniqua have been kind of talking to each other and everything, keeping up a little bit after the Houston rodeo. Shaniqua was using that opportunity. She was running down her resume. I've been in pageants and I've done this and I've done that. Now, keep in mind, nobody asked for this. I don't want to see this lady, y'all, because I thought that her energy with Chloe on the initial meeting was aggressive. Chloe was talking about she's a cougar. I don't know if she said I'm a cougar, but somehow her younger boyfriend Jordan came up. And then we get Shaniqua talking about she liked to date older men because they have money. And I remember Chloe saying, well, younger men can have something. Is that the case with Jordan? Does he have something? I don't know. We'll see. I don't care for Jordan because Jordan spoke on Nico in a negative way If you are behind and you only watch episode 4, where Chloe and Nico have a scene where it is uncomfortable, it gets loud. A lot of people felt Nico was being disrespectful. He was throwing in Chloe's face things that she had not done for him. Now, y'all, the backdrop, Chloe is married to, she called him in. His name is No. Call him the love of her life. She has 2 little daughters. I think they're twins. They're probably like 7. She married this man. He's the twins' father figure to Nico, her husband. She said the love of her life, married him. This man was dead of a massive heart attack, y'all, within the first, I don't know if I want to say 6 months, but very, very early in their marriage. And it wrecked Chloe. So she threw herself into her job, and she's out here dating this younger man. And Nico, she said that I made him a caretaker. He's not that. But it was clear that he had become kind of the man of the house. And she refers to him as her rock, all of this. So episode 4, that was a very tough scene with Nico and Chloe. Episode 5 redeemed itself, y'all. We get to see them sit down. He's 24, but he's very young presenting. And seen in the episode 4, she threw up, "What are you doing?" We find out he wants to be a rapper. And she was kind of throwing his, "Well, what have you been to the studio? What do you?" And it wasn't good, y'all, because we saw starting out that episode 4, Jordan talking about he needed to be a man. Here's Jordan, 4 years older than this young man, weighing in on him negatively to his mother. So that was disgusting. But episode 5 is worth it, y'all. We get the scene with Nico and Chloe sitting together. There's Chloe in the brown right here. Sitting together, talking. She's trying to get to know him, the adult him, the 24-year-old him, apologizing to him for ever feeling pushed aside. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm leaving out these comments. I apologize. Cece, Chloe's reaction to Jordan talking down on her son, and then how she spoke to her son, did not sit well with me. She's coming off as a for my man type woman. Yeah, that's what it was looking like, Cece. I didn't care for it at all. That was episode 4. And the hurt, I saw people were like, "Oh, he being disrespectful." I didn't like how Nico talked to Chloe. But you could tell Chloe had a battery in her back from Jordan, who I felt like, y'all are on a date. Why are you giving this ninja a say-so over your son? And then we find out more about their relationship. Labrina has her son, Pop. We find out that Labrina was a teen mom. She had her son when she was 19. Chloe had Nico at 19. She said Nico's done everything with her. She said he got his master's with my master's. He's sitting right there in class with me. He's done everything with Chloe. When Chloe was grieving and still grieving, the whole family's still grieving. No, her husband, who's a father, was a father figure to Nico. Nico's taking care of his sisters. Chloe's throwing herself into her event planning. And Nico is he graduated from high school, but seemed a little bit lost. He know he wants to be a rapper. We find out to me, the redeeming scene, number 10, episode 5, I give it a 10 out of 10. During that scene when she talked to him and spoke life into him, rather than having this battery in her back from this ninja who sound like he would like to take his place. He'd like to take up residence in the basement or wherever Nico is living. If Chloe and Jordan are going to stay together, Jordan needs to keep his own, have his own. You buy another home that y'all can move into. I wouldn't have this ninja live in my house. We already know how he feel about Nico. Me too, Cece. I felt so bad for Nico on the last episode. He has been ignored. Yeah, and I could see it, the regret that Chloe showed. This is why I love episode 5. This was so raw, y'all. Chloe can be a little bit messy. I was talking about how she brought Shaniqua back around, and Shaniqua kind of went at Latoria and pulled out old paperwork on Latoria, trying to prove that she knows the lady, which can never be done. You can't prove that somebody knows you. Latoria clearly didn't remember the lady in that sense and have that big. Shaniqua just didn't have that big an impact on Latoria. Sorry, Shaniqua. I don't care if you're in each other's emails. You can find business emails from people that you would struggle to even put a face to them, I'm sure. Because I've had a lengthy career, and there are people that I'll know a name, but I'm like, who is that? But I wouldn't be mad if they didn't know me. If they said, "Who? Sandra P, have I met her?" I wouldn't be upset about that. And go to Kinko, not Kinko. Latoria's talk about Kinko. Latoria's in her early 30s, but I guess everybody remembers Kinko's. She said, what in the FedEx Kinko's is this? I didn't know what it was either. It was crazy. But Chloe, I thought being messy, brought Shaniqua around. We need another fun girl. All of them are fun in their own thing. Some of them are more reserved. We find out that Ro, when she meets new people, is guarded, which is smart. You just can't be all out here hard on your sleeve with people, because some of these people are pretty terrible, y'all. They are. And everybody has things they can do that are not the greatest things, but there are some people that don't have a good intention, a good bone in their body. And they're not people that you really want to be around. I didn't get a good vibe from Shaniqua. I didn't care for Shaniqua. She's trying to insert herself in this group brought in by Chloe. Chloe didn't really know this lady to do that. And then in her confessional, she admitted, why did I bring her? I'm sorry that I brought her. I didn't know she's going to do that, because you don't know her. You don't know how this lady was going to move within your group. We had another episode where Latoria, I thought it was vulnerable, brought together the ladies to meet her therapist, and they kind of have like a group therapy session. And that's where Labrina and Chloe were able to kind of hit on the similarities of the situations with their sons, that they were both 19 when they had them. Labrina's young, but she has been through a lot. Labrina knows a lot. Labrina brings a lot of wisdom. And I like that Chloe was able to look up to a slightly younger woman and say, she said, you have a lot of structure in your household. I feel like I'm missing that. Because Nico was the man of the house. Now, he's not going to be back in a child role or anything, but he can move on to where he's not a father figure. He's an older brother to his little sisters, and they can grieve as a family. Therapy for everybody. I love where this show is going, y'all. Episode 5, 10 out of 10. Young but wise. Wasn't she? I just loved Labrina. And when the whole group got together, here's another thing Latoria did that I did like. I questioned. They showed a preview. She said, I'm honoring 2 of the ladies. I'm like, here we go. Everybody is a boss in their own right. Everyone is, they've done amazing things. But to pick 2 out of 6, I didn't know how that was going to come across. But learning more about it, Latoria honored 20 women. So it was an event that Latoria was able to put together. We get to watch the planning. That's another thing we love about this show. We got to see Ro at work. Ro has opened restaurants. She's done a lot of celebrity-focused events. Same thing with Latoria. I want to see Chloe plan an event. We know Chloe is an amazing event planner. We got to see Color du Jour from the beautiful Elena, her makeup business. Another scene in the 10 for 10 episode, Elena and her mother. We know that Elena has been doing makeup for years. She tells the viewer in a confessional, I was 15 years old. I was beating all my friends' faces, doing all their makeup. And it was foot traffic over. And the mother was like, are they paying you? They weren't paying her. She loves it. She's doing what her passion is. And the mother's like, but they're using your supplies and your products. And the mother had business cards made. Chloe has a business, a lucrative business, a well-respected business, doing that to this day. So not Chloe, Elena. Elena has a business doing that to this day. So Chloe can pour life into her son rather than listening to this raggedy boyfriend. I don't care how big and fine he is. He shouldn't have ever been able to speak on her son. I like Chloe. I like all of the ladies. But we can see that Chloe, there are some areas where it's like, okay, you could do better, but I can do better. Anybody can do better. And that's the beauty of this show, because what she do, she course corrected. She came back in the next episode. When Labrina was talking about what she was going through with her son, how her parents wanted her out at 18, put her out. We got to see Labrina's parents. Y'all, that was a trip. Labrina's father still believes that a child should leave the home at 18. Too young. That's like the bare legal. That's not your brain's not fully developed until you're 25 years old. Nico's 24. He's grieving. He's basically trying to raise his sisters. That's not his role. He should be in a big brother role. But Chloe is receptive to information. Doesn't matter that Labrina is a little bit younger. None of that. Labrina is a young but wise, as Patrina said. So you have to take good information where you can get it. Even if somebody is a fool, a broken clock is right twice a day. You can chew up the meat and spit out the bones, is a saying that people say. So I love that this show is showing us all these different things. I was talking about Chloe, the messy part of Chloe introducing Shaniqua, who came in there, I thought, for Latoria. The second meeting, they met again at Mocha, a Black-owned space. four black men own that space. And I pointed out at the time when Ro came in dressed in all black like the old man. Ro was fine, y'all. There was a man that was watching her. Just everybody was like, the men all pause. And that, all of the ladies, when they come in, I love that scene. Everybody was shot just like walking in. And then Chloe, I have a surprise. And it turned out to be Shaniqua, who started arguing with Latoria. Do you know me or not? So now the 10 out of 10 episode, we get a follow-up scene. Thankfully, the only people that were willing to meet with her was Ro and, of course, Chloe, because Chloe wants some type reconciliation. Here's where I stand on it. I don't need to see any more Shaniqua. Shaniqua may be a perfectly nice person, but the group of 6 women, we have enough as far as them, their businesses, their family, that we can get to know on these 6. We don't need to see, y'all, I'm trying to see if I can move. We don't need to meet any more Shaniqua. We don't. I'm okay if we don't see Shaniqua anymore. Okay. And now I'm covering Ro, but at least you'll see a little piece of Chloe too. So I don't have to see any more Shaniqua. I know people are like, what the show? I don't know. You're going to need a little bit of mess. We got a little bit of mess. We're going to have a little bit of mess that's real life stuff. If we get to see more events being planned, you know how many stories can come from that. A wedding being planned, a huge party being planned, retirement party, anniversary. There's so much stuff. Yeah, Cece agrees. Where Shaniqua was not needed. Yeah, I agree. She's not. She tried to start an argument. Ro didn't even know at the time that Latoria was going to honor them. So that was in the backdrop. Latoria's positive. Latoria's going through something. That's another thing. We find out she had lost her father. She was leaving from one of the meetings, the meeting where she had that cute zebra dress on and the flowing hair. She was leaving from one of those to take her and her sisters were going to a comedy club. Y'all, after we lost my father, we did something similar. Gary Owen is a comedian that I find really funny. And we hadn't laughed. I took myself, 2 of my sisters, and 1 of my nieces to a comedy club. And it was just, my father liked to laugh. He liked certain comedians. It was something that was important to see Latoria going to do that and the group hyping her up. Like, ooh, you look cute. And she did. And they all do. They're all fine. I love the way they greet each other. I'm glad to see you. Certain ones have had little things together, like Latoria and Munira and the young versus you look 11 and cutesy. But any of that, they can repair anything that has happened between any of the 6 of them. Shaniqua, to me, she doesn't know them well enough. She's mad about it. Now Latoria is going to be even more guarded with her. Ro was put in a position of defending Latoria, who got up and left. Latoria, I understand why you got up and left. You can protect your peace. But Ro was speaking up for you. Chloe, it's very dangerous to bring unknown factors into a delicate group. Y'all are all getting to know each other. That didn't sit right with me. I don't know where Chloe got that idea from, but I was glad to see her own up in a confessional to regretting it and being like, what did I do? What is Shaniqua doing? Shaniqua was dead wrong. She called Ro big as she was leaving. And Ro was like, you wish you looked like this. Oh, you're big. There's nothing wrong with big. There's nothing wrong with big. So I don't like her saying that. And then she tried to kind of do a match for match. Well, I was bullied too when they were when they had the other meeting. I'm glad Ro met with her and it was just Ro and Chloe, but hopefully Shaniqua won't get an audience with the 6 again. Too much went on. But when Ro was saying Timu wig, just little light shade like that versus making fun of somebody's body type. And Shaniqua, they used to call me olive oil. You didn't have to come around to get called olive oil. Nobody over here called you olive oil. You started trying to call somebody out. And that's why Latoria felt uncomfortable and her friend Ro was defending her. So this show, Heart and Hustle, has so much, y'all. I want this to be the #1 show on OWN so the other show can stop saying that. And so that we can showcase positivity. And you'll have some negativity. You'll have some mess. You'll have just all this stuff to talk about. That episode was chock full, y'all. And it was only episode 5. There's a couple million Houstonites, people that live in Houston. We need more of them to watch this show. Because I think the trend is good. When I look at TV Deets always shows like the trend. I don't know that they reached 200,000 yet. But their numbers go up every week. That other show is stagnant or down. And I'm just comparing because they're both own network shows. Y'all, I was going to drop OWN after that other show. The way that person was able to act up on that show and threaten someone on that show, and people feel like OWN should be above it. I didn't feel like OWN was above it, y'all. And I don't care if it started out Oprah Winfrey Network. That's just an acronym now. It's not Oprah Winfrey Network. And even if it was, look at Oprah. Look at how Oprah has moved over the past couple of decades. Oprah been a problem. So I hope they do the right thing as far as not willfully introducing messy characters, potentially dangerous characters. Because when that lady started call Ro a B, call her big, if Ro had turned around and fed her a knuckle sandwich, that's all we'd be talking about. I'm so glad she didn't do that. She didn't even know she was under consideration being honored at the time. And that was another good thing about that last episode that I loved so much, episode 5, when Latoria honored Ro, and who else did she honor? Elena. They were so touched by that, y'all. They were so touched by that. Because Elena, maybe she fell into her career. She didn't. She had a passion. Her mother recognized that in her and proceeded to help nurture her, and it's grown. To get business cards for a teen, who would think like that? I want more of us to think like that. I think that's amazing. So we're going to watch a lot of growth from Elena. The personal side of it, she's sharing more and more about her father. Another good scene with her mother finally talking about, yeah, I would look perfect on the outside, but finally she had to leave the father. There was some alcoholism going on. So there's a lot of things that this show can do. And y'all, if you are not already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. Press the like button as you come in or as you leave. Team Replay already knows what to do. Thank you so much, Team Replay. Started out talking about Winter Wonderland because everybody knows Melody Shari. Last year was the first one. She's had Mimosas for Melodies for years. I think it was under a different name because they used to showcase that on that show. But I've been to a couple of the Mimosas with Melodies. And of course, the inaugural Winter Wonderland, I already have my ticket for that. So those of you that will be at Winter Wonderland, I'll see you there. We'll coordinate like who's staying where. And if you don't have anybody to go with, if you feel like you're going alone, you're not going alone. You're not going alone at all because it's like-minded people, y'all. It's a lot of positivity. It's just, I loved it. So one of the new projects that I am recapping, as you know, if you're here, Heart and Hustle Houston and OWN, let's see. King's Court is Bravo. That's the only thing I'm looking at on OWN right now. I'll see what else OWN has out there, but Bravo really has more other things that I'm watching and recapping, or at the very least do a Sandra Peace Gen Extra. Tune in for BravoCon commentary, recaps, inside information, because I'm going to be there. I'm going to be filming. I have the 3-day pass already. I'm going to figure out what other events I want to go to. So let me know in the comments. If you come back, let me know if you are going to be at Winter Wonderland. That's December 20th this year in Atlanta. I have to look at the ticket, but I don't think it had the exact location yet. So that won't even impact my hotel. Atlanta's easy to get around as far as Uber, Lyft. I was on MARTA, y'all. Because I had to go and get a dress. One of the times I was on MARTA. And then another time we were in an Airbnb as a group and there was a rental car. I think Angela A might have gotten the rental car. But one of the other people, 32 Shots, went with me to find a dress. So yeah, I will be at Winter Wonderland. I will be at BravoCon. I have a couple of other vacations plans that I'll share with you. And Sandra P is free to move about the cabin. And we've been on here over an hour. Well, I had various topics that I wanted to cover. I covered all of the topics, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. I'll be back online before then. I know I have Real Housewives of Miami coming up. They they broadcast the episode Thursday night. So recap will be sometime on Friday. But I'm looking to do a political minute. There's a lot of news out there that I could cover. So I know there's an hour I can get out of that. And I have a lot of subscribers, y'all, that talk to me. They talk back to me about the politics, and I love it. Thank you, CC. CC is one of the moderators. Have a blessed day, everyone. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra, and I will see you in the YouTube streets. Bye.